Today on Game Changer, we're speaking to a remarkable individual. His name is RichardGriffin. He's the creator of Madame Zagara and the Bombay Bicycle Club and Cafe Paradiso and Don Pedro's and Mozart's Cafe and the post office and a whole bunch of other little businesses underneath that are doing incredibly well and that stand out for not only providing the basic service of offering food to customers, but providing an incredible experience and ambience and just a place that you want to go back to, because whatever you have there is you just have one of the best nights of your life. I tried to go to one of his restaurants, actually 3 of his restaurants during winter, and couldn't get a table because they booked out 2-3 weeks in advance. That's just how good they are in a very tough economic environment. But what Richard has done in life has been remarkable. He never matriculated, but at the age of 21 was a millionaire. He has gone through amazing highs and amazing lows. He has built empires 3 different times. Twice they came crashing down around him. But he's bounced back stronger than before, and he's doing a phenomenal job now. Richard was a chef when he started off. That's how he kind of got into the restaurant game. But what is interesting is in this interview, he never mentions food once. He talks a lot about creating an experience for his customers, and that is about making it memorable and remarkable. But 80% of his focus is on his staff and how he can train them, how he can empower them, and how he can make their lives better. And he has some remarkable stories to talk that he talks us through. But what is phenomenal about Richard is that he hasn't been influenced by what's happening overseas. There's a massive movement in the States and in Europe on emotional intelligence and a new form of leadership. But they're doing it here in our backyard without any influence, basically just because they have an intent to make their staff's lives better in a very creative way. So I was really moved by this interview. I was blown away by the incredible lengths that they go to train the staff, and I'm sure you will be too. So let us know what you think about the interview after it's done in the comment section. Ask us some questions, ask Richard some questions. We'll try to get him to answer it. He is a very busy man though, but let us know what you thought of it, because we hope you enjoyed as much as we enjoyed putting it together.
Primarily, I believe in the success of everybody. I mean, that's really where the foundation comes from. And what do? I motivate people through labor. We all have these acts of labor that we do for a living, and my whole thing is to succeed, you have to believe. If you don't believe, you will never find that success. But I'm finding more and more within staffing and with the more economy and educational structure is that some of us don't believe primary success. That we don't only have to teach them that this is the job that they need to do, we also need to spend our time teaching them this is how we need to think about the way we do things.
But it's like my actual game plan with BAT is I've created a fleet of staff transport vehicles. You know? We need to get our staff into school. Our staff won't go to school unless we get them to school. So they're not going to just get in a car and go to school. They're not going to get in a taxi and go to the classroom. They're going to say, "Boss John, I can't get there." Okay. With no responsibility. They're just going to say, "I can't." And I'm going to say, "Okay, cool. Well, let me call you a taxi quickly and go." But we can't afford to do that. So we've imported in the process, we've imported 6 tuk-tuks, which we're converting into helicopters. And this is my whole thing, it's my bridge to education. It's how are we going to get the staff's buy-in to accept responsibility for everything that we do. We live in a culture where we live in a society, let's put that in Southern Africa, where our minimum wage group are so depressed about the minimum wage. That our minimum wage group are so depressed about their minimum wage is that their minimum wage is actually what's blocking them to find success. It's the volunteer that always wins. The person that always puts their hand up in the air to say, "Pick me, help me, I've got extra time, I'll come and work at night. Oh, don't worry boss, I'll do this one." Those are the people that grow. Then in any operation, in any corporation, those are the people that grow. Your minimum wage person, what we find is they are so depressed and saddened about their state that they are forgetting to believe in their own success. You with me? That's the one side. Our next side is our employment laws and our labor laws are very much teaching a person not to take accountability for your wrongdoing. We have a company policy which says if you are fired, dismissed for any reason, theft, it doesn't matter what it is, you are more than welcome to apply for your job in 3 months' time. Where We are wanting to breed a environment where everybody takes responsibility for their actions their actions. Okay. For every 6 months, for every 6 to 8 staff, we have a training manager.
Okay.
Okay. Or sorry, that would be up to 14 staff because they work on double teams. They have a training manager and they have a representative, an educated representative within their division to assist them with their duties on hands. When I was doing the government audits now for skills development, we did surveys across our staff. There wasn't a staff member that felt that they needed training in what they do. Everybody receives the training in what they do. What they wanted was in training of the things that they don't do. And I can see it as I get older and I start getting wiser and more pedantic about certain things. Whenever they go through problems and I go and start scratching, the problem is never the problem. The problem is always something else. Communication is what brings that feeling of team and belonging. When people are alone and separated, when the people don't feel that they belong to something, that is when they change brands. They move, the consumer moves, or a staff member moves. When I'm feeling valued and heard, which is the opposite, that's when I start to shine. What I found was that I was dealing with certain emotions at a head office level, assuming that these things would be passed down. They're not passed down. The communication is like broken telephone. I speak to you about something, you go on and you speak to it the next line down. And I suppose like in any corporate, there's this paper trail that goes with it, and this is why I suppose the corporations run and have the turnaround times that they do. We don't want to be a corporation. We're very firm on the fact that we want to be a kingdom. When we don't have those meetings and we don't have that communication, what happens is that people start falling away. We see higher turnover of staff. We see poor performance when it comes to food preparation. We see poor service delivery from the waiters and the floor staff and the bar staff. We see disheartened managers with long hours and just poor attitudes. They get ground down. When we follow our routine of spending time with people and everybody feels a part of something and creating something, we start to feel valued and heard, and that is when we seriously see a restaurant or a division shine. No is not an option until you try 3 things. Yeah, those do exist. Stop crying to me. Go try 3 things and come back to me. Take responsibility for everything that you do. Owning your own failures is one of the greatest successes. By not distancing yourself from your failure and owning it, that is actually the greatest success. Because by then you're accepting it and you're learning from it. Staffing for me is everything. I believe that a consistent workforce is a stable product, is a consistent product, is a consistent turnover, it's a consistent revenue. When I look into restaurants and businesses, and we're afforded the luxury of looking at a lot of restaurants' balance sheets because we tend to buy restaurants. We can always see a consistency issue, and you can see it from the general ledger. You can see it from the bottom line performance of what happens on a daily basis in terms of turnover. When turnovers go up and down, you can normally look to the payroll and the other side of things, and you see staff are going up and down at the same time. We took a company from 100 people and grew it into 350 people in the space of 6 months. Some people would call it suicide. I call it lots of staff training. We are very clear about the fact that we are wanting our staff to be the greatest success possible. We are very clear on the fact that we want everybody to feel the same scope of hope that I or you or anybody else feels. We are very clear on the fact that we want nobody to use the word can't. We want them to use the words how can I. And it is entrenched in our system. What we're doing now, which is growing a company and trying to find the best way to run this place, is to spend a lot of time with our staff. Hours and hours and hours of communication, of listening, of understanding. What are their requirements at work? What are their requirements at home? Are they meeting these requirements? What are their financial situation? What are their kids' situation? What are their schooling environment? Why? So that we can build a company that is the best company, not only for myself, but it's for everybody. What we're finding is that the greatest request that is coming from our people is the request for information. What we're finding on a consumer side is, and a customer side, is that the customers love me sometimes, but there is a lot of there's a lot of assumption when it comes to value and income. Do we make money at Madame Zingara? Yes, we do. However, we pay better than anybody else in the industry, and generally on any given month we will spend between, I don't know, $250,000 and $500,000 on staff development. You're going to spend 6 months to a year on education before you start seeing stores rolling out at the same time. What we see is a higher staff retention, so staff don't leave as quickly as they stay for a longer period. Look, our average length of stay is 4 to 8 years. Okay, so they don't go often, and the staff member is the staff member is my prize or my greatest focus. Many years ago, one of the first business books I ever read was Anita Broderick's Body and Soul, and in that book, it was page 3 or page 10, came the line, to believe, to succeed, you have to believe with such a passion that you make it a reality. It was one of the most profound sentences I ever read in my business career, and I still use it today with our staff and our training manuals, etc. When we touched on success earlier, and it's how do we achieve success and all that kind of stuff. It's about belief and it's about passion. We've got to believe that we can. You with me? I can and I will. Klar. When we had the fire, I had no money. I had insurance takes X amount of months to pay, so I had none of that. I'd already raped my parents and the family to build the restaurant to start with, which was another thing, and then we had invested in that property, which was a serious investment. I got on a plane and I went and cried. I mean, literally, I went to the lessons and I cried. There wasn't a choice for me. We needed a solution, and we needed a solution now. It wasn't about finding a solution the next day, it was about finding a solution now. These are the people that I've worked with for some of the kitchen staff my entire life, when I was a kid. And off we went, and that was my first big one of tenacity. I think when everybody kind of saw, hold on, there's something going on. There was a lot of stuff spoken, but there will always be a lot of stuff spoken. That's not really the beginning or the end of my day. The tent was a fantastic success and a phenomenal success, and we saw our staff complement grow, which for me is one of the happiest parts of, or byproducts of what I do, is to see the volume of people we are able to employ, the volume of households we are able to look after, the volume of interaction that positive interaction we are afforded to have with our people. The tent is a phenomenon. You've got to operate at 80 to 90% occupancy, otherwise you're dead in the water. It's not so much this, it's like when things go wrong, you with me, like, no, that wasn't a wrong scenario, but now for Johannesburg now we wanted a whole new fresh look internally, we wanted different foyer layouts, we wanted refits, we wanted all the steel repaired. It's a R2.5 million move. It just is. There is nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
Are we making money? Yes, we are making money. What are we doing with that money is more important to me. It's not are you making money, it's what do you do with it. Are you buying yourself a Ferrari, or are you putting it where it needs to go, which is back into our economy and back into our people and back into the things that are scarce skills. For me, that is what makes us a good business. That's what me, I can go to bed at night and sleep. Why? Because I'm very clear on what we spend our money on. Education is for all our staff. The new campus is going to be for every single staff member that works here, and it's not voluntary education. No? This is not voluntary.
Really?
This is compulsory education. You can go to a yoga class if that's what you feel like doing. That's great. But you're going to go to a class, and it is on paid time. Zingara for me is about doing good. You with me? Have I always done good? No. 30% devil, at least evil, at least. But Zingara is about doing good. Working here, it has no meaning to me unless we are actually out there actively engaging with goodness and kindness. And in all our stores we have this thing, random acts of kindness every day. You will do something kind. You will find X amount of clients per day depending on what that store is, and you will give it away. Blah. I want people to love what we do. I want to love it. I want to love it every day, and I want others to love it as much as we do, or just even a little bit. I have goals like, my goals are, I would like the staff to potentially get rid of me and theoretically take over the company is my big one. I would like the people that have worked here for the time that I have to take ownership in every angle of the business, including the owning of the company. And that's it.
Yeah.
That really is it. You know, when people ask me about my creativity, my creativity comes by not giving up. I refuse to give up. I don't give up. You want it, it's yours. You can have it, and that is my message to anybody on this earth. It is yours if you want it, and you want it bad enough. Work. It's not skills and it's not brains. I don't have much of those, but what I do have is I have a very good knowledge of how much a cabbage is worth, and if I give you 2 cabbages and you give me back 1 cabbage, I'm fucked. Really, that's it. And one of the questions that you posed to me was, what are the greatest things in your life originally? What are your greatest accomplishments? Getting up my company and learning to love it for what it is without the money attached to it was one of the greatest gifts I've ever received. To know that I'm doing this for reasons other than myself. I want Zingara to do good, and I want Zingara not only to do good now, I want Zingara to do good for many years to come. Be me here or be me not here, that is irrelevant to me. I want to leave something behind that has the benefits of every single person that works in it. Not in a hokey-pokey kind of fucking way, but where its foundations and its structure are built on this essence, where I know that anybody can come to this house and come to these doors and they can build a fucking champion and be given all the tools that they need to in order to achieve it. One of my latest moves, and they moves, I'm a thing, one of my latest moves was to publish our payroll. Not this is specifically what you earn, but this is what a position earns, and these are the responsibilities that come with it. Okay, and what I'm going to do now with everybody through this, we're busy getting ready to launch a staff TV channel, which is going to be super exciting, and I want to talk to them through television sets, because I'm not able to be in the stores every day and I'm not able to spend one-on-one time with people. I don't want a broken telephone on what we're trying to achieve. I want you to achieve it, and I want it to be with you firsthand. But that we're talking to them in real time about the things that are being achieved. You with me, so that it is a very clear communication between myself and you. This is our culture. Our culture has not changed. Just because you don't see me every day doesn't mean that I'm not standing next to you. When it comes to management, you go into the floors and you say, whose staff are these? You know, you talk to the chefs or you talk to the floor managers about kitchens. And, no, these are Richard staff. You with me, no matter what size of company we are. These are my people. Those 4 women raised me in a kitchen. They were the ones that taught me what was right and wrong. Svetlina was the one that wiped the blood off my body when I came into that kitchen at the age of 13. It wasn't a beautiful picture. These are the women that have taught me my life. I want them to be valued as the heroes that they truly are in my world. I would be nothing without these people. You know, and I talk about them and us and everything else, but at the end of it, it is them and us. You know, we are a family of people that have been together through all of these things and all of these stories, and we've lived through life, and we've lived through death, and we've lived through great sadness and also great joy. I'm proud of the payroll that we were able to achieve today. It's something that is very humbling for me to be able to meet those kind of demands and achieve the kind of turnovers that we think. But it is a relationship, and it's a relationship between myself and our staff and the customer. If I don't reach the staff, I don't get to reach the customer anymore. And what I'm trying to do is trying to investigate, to find a balance where all these things can work in harmony, so then we have got this possibility for growth. But it's going to unfold, and if we go bankrupt again, that's what we do. If we fuck up 10 times, well, let me fuck up. You with me? But I'm not going to be happy until we've tried. I still believe there's a better way to be running business. I still believe there's a better way to be doing things. I'm so grateful to my parents for the role that they've played in my life, and this thing of they've just always stood by it, you know, no matter how wrong it's gone, you know, that they've always just loved, they've always had this capacity to love. I've committed to Mumbai, which is the new one, and it's coming along. We're doing a very big creative, it's a whole restaurant experience, it's another experimental, nightmare kind of job, which is going to be a lot of fun.
And how does that feel, going back to where it all started? Because whenever
you have no idea. No, this is a lot of consultation with our friend Jar. You know, this is like out there on the creative level. I mean, it's tuk-tuks and helicopters, and that's just no. It's a full on. I mean, we basically hydraulic jacking the entire building, so we can turn the building into a 3-dimensional space while you're having dinner, and it's full on.
Wow.
We're going up 3 floors of Indian chaos.
Wow.
Yeah, 15 dining experiences. Going home, going to Singara is a very big, it's a circle for me. It's the completion of a road, it's a completion of the journey. Singara, although I had restaurants and businesses before it was Singara that really defined me as an operator. I love that building, and there's reasons, you know, there's reasons. When we built it, and we built Lazuli, there's thousands and thousands of messages in the floors. Whenever we build a shop, you know, every single staff member in the company has to write a message of love and place it in the floor. On a business level, it's people like Kevin Hedwig from Famous Brands. The guy is an absolute inspiration. What he has done on that business is bloody believable. I have so much respect for anybody's body of work or content of work, and it's not about a specific person, or, you know, for me everybody's great. It's you got to work, you know, and that's the thing. And where we see success is in people that go to work. You know, we all read Richard Branson and we think, oh, nice guy, and you can achieve anything that you want. Yeah, no, nice guy, pretty well. Somebody there's, you know, a dog. You know, somebody there has to be a prick. You know, it can't all be fun. It's not like that. Everybody has a percentage of pain. I believe that we give you the license and the freedom to talk about it.
Okay.
You with me, which is why the healing takes place. Are we custom building a restaurant around people's pain? No, we're not. But we are giving people the platform to be able to talk about it. My or our belief structure is that Zingara is a stage. Yeah, I'm your little curtain. It's up to you to do the shining. It's not my responsibility to make you shine. It's my responsibility just to put the stage there. You with me? The rest of it is your job. Yeah. But when you take 100 people from every single different walk of life, good, bad, negative, prison cell, Crescent Clinic, and you shove them all in a room, and Picket Fence, Claremont, and Methodist Anglican, and Seventh-day Adventists on the side, and you shove them all in a room together, and you say, okay, cool, let's work and be creative. For me, when people ask me how does magic happen, I say that's how magic happens. When we take, and we let them build their own box. When we take everybody and we shove them into a box, and we don't let them be who they are and they want to be, then we just get nothing. We just get a drone scenario. Because everybody's so different, and because they come from such diverse backgrounds, it's not like I've got 100,000 drug addicts running around. I don't. You with me? I've got 5 and 6 young boys in that sector over there, spread out over X, Y, Z, Y, P. It's actually nothing. But because we allow them the same privileges we allow everybody, and you put in all these people together and you're rubbing them together, that's when we start seeing the magic. People share, and then they talk, and then they start feeling safe, and they've got this boundary, and we do huge things, you know. I find I find poor communication in Johannesburg, so what do? I go and I spend a week with the kitchen staff and we build a staff canteen together. Why? Because I believe if everybody sat around the same table, we would all talk. Did it work? It worked. Problem's gone. Yeah, which is when I'm very positive about when I say assisting people in the ability to think properly. Why I'm so confident in that statement is that I've done that course 3 times and now I'm seeing the results of it coming from workshops that I've been on with staff and this course content, and now I'm seeing the results of it in management. We're just building better people. You know, are they perfect people? No, they're not. But we're building better people, people that are accountable for the way that they think and the way that they do, and you're giving them the practical tools in order to achieve that. That's all very well and fine to sit and shout at somebody about everything that they're doing wrong, but it's another thing to sit down with them and take them through the process. And we're definitely seeing the results. We're seeing better performance, better service levels, we're seeing greater responsibility, we're seeing greater communication and understanding of other people's, we're seeing less temper and anger, we're seeing less rocking of the boat and more driving of the boat.
Wow.
Less blame, more acceptance. The results are tangible and we're seeing them. And we're seeing them firsthand now, especially with so many of them on the course. Has it been very disruptive, and have we had to not only give over a lot of money but also give over a lot of time, payroll time, 3 hours a week or 4 hours, I think it's 4 hours a week for 14 weeks on 47 top level earners. I say it the way it is. I don't kind of beat around it, you know. But for right now, it's to secure this whole job in a box, which is, and I want to leave. I don't want to sell it. I don't want to sell Zingara. I just don't want to, so I won't. And I won't allow anybody to see it. I don't want to have to put those values on things.
It's incredible, like you have the accidental.
Yeah, but what the fuck is it? You know, it's money, shmoney, you know, and as long as the company can carry on growing and carry on creating employment and carry on teaching people to be individuals and teaching, you know, assisting people in growth and leadership and all those important things, surely that's enough value to things. So how much shopping at Woolworths can we do? I don't know if you noticed, but we do all our work in winter. We don't do any work in season. You know, and it's now that we see the chefs fighting for restaurants. You know, they get to a #1 place and keep a store for a year, and the excitement of those chefs and the energy that it brings into the operation. It's very disruptive on the operation, but you know what? It's outweighing joy. But it's expensive. There's a price. But you buy joy. It's a fair exchange.